Hi friends, Assalamu Aleikoum. Welcome or welcome back, or if you're new, hi, my name is Laura. January flew by. I just can't believe the first month of 2026 is already over, like, where's time going? But I'm not gonna lie, I have watched some great movies, seen great shows, and read a lot of good books. Also, the new season of Bridgerton just came out. I'm loving it so far. I'm loving it. This morning I just finished watching episode 2 and I feel like there is going to be good tension this season. I liked season 1, loved season 2. Season 3 was just not my cup of tea. They kind of lost me there. Then I started watching Queen Charlotte and oh my days, the whole I will stand with you between the heavens and the earth. I will tell you where you are. Do you love me? I bawled my eyes out. So this weekend I'll be binging the first half of the season because the second part will come out later or something like that. Anyways, before I'm rambling on about Bridgerton, let's talk about all the books I read in January and if I would recommend them to you or not. First up is In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. This is the fourth book in the When in Rome series. So that are these. I flipping love these small town romance series. The first book, When in Rome, is about a pop star and a baker. Book 2 is about a florist and a bodyguard. Book 3 is about two teachers who are also secretly writers, but they are rivals. You know, this is a rivals to lover story. The fourth book came out 1 or 2 months ago. This is about a farmer and his chef. I think that if you liked Stars Hollow, you know, the small town in Gilmore Girls, you will like these characters and this small town as well. This is one of those places that everybody knows each other, they're up in their business, yet everybody just roots for each other. There wasn't a single person or love interest or main character that I did not like. I do feel book 1 and 2 were more focused on the whole romantic comedy genre, and book 3 and 4 had a little bit more depth to them. All these 4 books I gave 4 stars or higher, even 1 I gave 5 stars. In Your Dreams we follow Madison Walker, who got out of her small town, Rome, and moved to New York because she wanted to graduate culinary school. But she barely graduated and all her confidence was just crushed. So when a new opportunity arises in Rome, she goes back with her tail between her legs. James actually owns a farm and he's been working here all his life. Suddenly he gets in contact again with Madison and he knows she's not happy and he wants to help her out. And with helping her out, it might even save his own farm. He has some financial problems. He's going to set up a new restaurant on his farm. And it's kind of this like farm to table concept. James is also the best friend of Madison's brother. So we have this brother's best friend trope, which I love. And James is offering the head of chef position to Madison. This way, Madison will have a job and James has an opportunity to save his farm. Little does Madison know, James has always been longing for her, but he has never said it to her. Or to anyone. Madison just needs to build a confidence up and figure out a great menu for this restaurant. While James's problem is that his brother Tommy also is trying to get with Madison. I do, however, think this is going to be my least favorite out of the series. And it's not because I thought this book was better or anything. Like I said before, I gave all the books 3 stars or higher. I just love the other stories more. And I'm not going to lie, the fact that James is a smoker, that was kind of a big turn off for me. I hate that. I don't like smokers. I don't. Please don't smoke. Don't ever. Don't. When I was reading Undone by You, I kind of got Anna Huang and Lauren Asher kind of writing style vibes. I binged this book. This story is set in New York and it's a workplace romance. And usually I'm not really a fan of those, but I quite enjoyed myself. I felt the tension, I felt the need. I was just really curious to see where this book was going. This is also the first book in the, what's it going to be called? Between the Lines series. The author is self-published and I'm just so proud of her because this is a really good first novel to publish. I just have huge respect for self-published authors. They do their own writing, editing, marketing, publishing. It's just amazing. Oh, and it's funny because the female main character in the story is also called Madison. When I was reading this, it kind of brought me back to the early days when I started reading new adult contemporary romances, you know, like Anna Wong, Lauren Asher, Abby Jimenez, all those kind of authors. I just came back to the place that I love the most, which is contemporary romance. This is a 300-page romance story and that's just perfect. I love it when romance stories are 300 pages long because I just hate romance stories being dragged on. At a law firm in New York, Madison is assigned to work with and report to Julian, who is the arrogant CEO's son. And even though they cannot stand each other, there's so much tension between them. We know lawyers always have to work these ridiculous hours. Very long days, up until the evening, maybe even midnight. And it doesn't help when your girlfriend group is going to become friends with his guy group. They decide to go on a holiday with each other. And you know, what is the sun, beach, partying and spending time with your boss going to do? I really like it in series when we have each book set by a different brother or a person in a friend group. And I think, I'm not sure, but that all these books are going to be about her friend group, maybe his friend group as well, I don't know. Book 2 will be released in 2026, I believe. And that one is going to be about a detective and journalist. And don't get me wrong, I really like this law firm office workplace romance. But I think book 2 is going to be so much more exciting. The worst places scenes in here, I tried to map them all out for you. So check out this author and I cannot wait to read the second book. I'm trying to get through my physical TBR and also books in my native language, so Dutch books, which is why I picked up Woorden van Glas. So for all my Dutch and Belgian watchers, this is a young adult book and it has the elements of Gossip Girl, so if you like that, check this out. When I Was Deaf, listen, I know. This week I uploaded my February TBR and this was on there, but I binged this in a single day. I did not think I would get through this so fast, but I ate it up. This book will come out in March 2026 and I got the opportunity to read an arc. Guys, this was good. This is Alexis Henderson's debut young adult novel. This was exciting. Let me tell you that. We follow a group of girls who were all saved by death. Death isn't a human being, but he's still a person. All these girls were destined to die young. But just before dying, they kind of made a deal with death and he will spare their lives in order for them to kill for him. You get where I'm going with the story? Rosalind is our main girl in this book. A year ago, she has lost her sister. Nobody knows what happened to her sister. All they know is that they found her body in the woods. And one night when Rosalind was working, a group of girls came in. They were around the same age or younger. And Rosalind didn't know what, but something about them just drew her into them. And the same goes for these girls. They were attracted to her as well. I believe it was the youngest girl of the group who invited Rosalind for a night out. Rosalind decides to go, and when she's out with them, she discovers that they knew her sister from the summer before she died. It doesn't feel right, you know? She needs to know what happened to her sister because she believes these girls know what happened to her. Rosalind decides to join these girls on a road trip and then she meets Dad herself. Dad will give her the opportunity. If you join these girls and you kill for me, I will tell you what happened to your sister. I will show you what happened. Rosalind is determined to do anything, so she accepts. I believe this is classified as a young adult speculative horror story, but don't be afraid, it wasn't scary at all. It was just really intriguing and actually kind of beautiful as well. I shed a tear when the ending came. I really did. I just cannot imagining losing my sister. I literally wouldn't know what to do with my life then. So when this comes out in March, make sure to grab your copy. These girls do not have to murder, they just take their souls. I don't really know how to explain, but I just didn't hate death, you know? Which was something I thought I would. Graveyard, this is the first time I picked up a book by this author. This is the author of If We Were Villains. That book has been on my shelves for quite a few years now, I think 4 years. But in December I was in Valencia with my husband and he gifted me this book. So I thought, okay, let's see where the story is going. I hated it. This book was definitely not for me. I feel like we just read about a group of people who have insomnia and they work a graveyard shift. And then every hour is about a different person and they are trying to find out who dig up this mysterious grave. But the story isn't really going anywhere, so what was the point? I don't really know the point of the story. But I don't know, some people they gave it 4 or 5 stars, so might just be me. Then I read the first book in the Sparrow Falls series, Fragile Sanctuary. This was amazing. I feel like the series is going to become a new obsession of mine. This is a swoony small town romance, but it has suspense. There was a murder mystery plot in here. I did not expect that. That was not on my bingo card for this book. It was amazing. It really was. We have Rhodes, aka Ro, and Ensign Hunt. When Ro was a young teenager, her house got burned down with her parents and sister still inside. She was the only survivor, the only one that made it out. Trying to survive and live with all the grief, she was adopted or fostered by her best friend's mother, who was already fostering a bunch of kids. And as much as I love the whole romance and whatever aspect and tropes are in this book, the found family will always and ever be my favorite. I think you can experience love in so many ways and it doesn't always need to be romantic relationship. So I thought the entire family dynamic in this book was so beautiful because all these kids just started loving each other like they were real brother and sisters. That was so beautiful to me. Now that Ro's older, she decided to rebuild her family's home, her childhood home. She hires a construction company of her brother, Shep, to do the construction, and Shep has hired one of his college best friends, Ensign. He's your typical moody, broody, grumpy, I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't have any friends besides him kind of character, you know? He's very grumpy. Just for some reason, Ro and Ensign find each other, they understand each other, they share the same pain and trauma, and they can't stay away. Ensign has some traumatic past of his own. He has had this very incredibly cool job back in the day, but that has left him with a very traumatic experience, which is why he's now in construction. The first part is about the family and the romantic development. In the middle part, we have the whole mystery plot in the making, you know? And then the third plot, everything comes together and it's so thrilling. There is a villain in this story and I did not expect that person to be it. Was not on my radar. I gave it 4 stars. It was so exciting and I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. Like, romantic suspense scratched my brain in the right way, you know? Then for our book club on Fable, we read A Tempest of Tea. And I'm so sorry, but I didn't really like it. I tried 4 or 5 times to dive into this book. I tried reading the physical copy on my Kindle. I tried listening to the audiobook. I just couldn't get into it. It just wasn't for me, sadly. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It is so stunning and I really want to give it a shot. So maybe in the future again, inshallah. But I just didn't really care for the book. I'm so sorry. So I finished 9 books, but I tried reading 10. Then I squeezed in a novella by Frida McFadden, The Gift. Yo, what was this? It's the night of Christmas Eve, and Stella Hansen is broke. She works 2 jobs while her husband is in law school. You think, oh, well, cute, she's busting her ass off to get him through law school, you know? But they are so broke, she cannot even afford a Christmas present for her husband. She was stressing about this, and one of the customers overheard a conversation about this. The old woman invited her to her shop, reassuring her she will leave with a present for her husband. Stella goes to the shop and she thinks she has the most perfect idea for him. But again, no money. The woman is like, you know, let's trade. Stella doesn't really have anything to trade. And the woman says, trade me your hair. She's like, huh? Stella needs to shave her head in order to get that present for her husband. Now let me tell you, she's already working 2 jobs to get him through law school and pay all the bills. And now she's also getting rid of her hair just to get a present for him? Girl. This man doesn't deserve you, let me tell you that. Then I can't say much more because otherwise I will reveal the plot. I was just rolling my eyes the entire time listening to the audiobook because what the flip. I cannot give this a rating because it was so short. But girl, be so for real. Most of the time when I read a book by Frida McFadden, I'm sorry, but the characters make such dumb decisions that I'm like, could never be me. Could never be me. Then I also listened to the audiobook by B.K. Borson, Good Spirits. And I thought it started off so cute and good. I was so into the entire story, but then kind of halfway near the end, it just lost me and I gave it 2 stars. I just didn't really care for the book anymore. So that was a shame. So I don't know if I'm going to continue the series or not. Then I listened to the second book in the Off the Ice series, Spiral. This is a sports romance between a ballerina and an ice hockey player who are going to be fake dating. I loved it. I do think the book was getting dragged on, so it was too long. We could have wrapped it up earlier. But I had a really good time. Just like the first book. It was just really good. Elias is a very famous hockey player, but because he's followed so much by the paparazzi, there is a lot of gossip surrounding him. He's portrayed as this womanizer or just player, you know? Then we have Sage, whose dream is just to be a ballerina. But apparently it's not enough to be a good dancer because you also need to be popular. You know, have a lot of Insta followers. Then one evening, through mutuals, Sage won a date with Elias for a good cause. When they are photographed together, people start believing they are a couple. And both Elias and Sage actually think this is a good idea because it will help Elias with his reputation, you know, to get the people off of his back if they think he's a really refined and settled down man. And for Sage, it's good to get more recognition. We all know how the fake dating trope goes. I love it. It was a fun read. So those were all the books that I read in January. Let me know if you read any of these or if you plan on reading them. Thank you so much for watching. Salaam Aleikoum. Bye girls.